This conference will now be recorded.
अद्य शनिवासरः अथवा मन्दवासरः कार्तिक शुद्ध सप्तमी दिनांक 21 नोव्हेंबर 2020 चरक सहस्र योगम अमृत प्राशुद्ध शंखं चक्रं जलौकान्तततघटं चारुदौर्भिश्चतुर्भिः सूक्ष्मस्वच्छातिहृद्यांशुकपरिविलसन् मौलिमम्भोजनेत्रं कालाम्भोदोज्ज्वलाङ्गं कटितटविलसच्चारुपीताम्बराढ्यं वन्दे धन्वन्तरिं तं निखिलगदवनप्रौढदावाग्निलीलम् प्रौढदावाग्निलीलम् ब्रह्मणो हि समारब्धा मात्रेयाद्येषु पूजिताम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् आयुर्वेदरतं वन्दे माधवाख्यं महागुरुम् आयुर्वेदामृतं सर्वं शिष्येभ्यो यः प्रदत्तवान् द्रष्टा ज्ञानी दृष्टकर्मा कृतकर्मा तथैव च अध्यापको विश्वश्रेष्ठो महान् संशोधकस्तथा गुणैरेतैः समुदितैः यत्कार्यं प्रतनोति समृद्ध्यर्थं हि कार्यस्य वयं नु प्रयतामहे सरस्वत्यै नमो यस्याः प्रसादात् पुण्यकर्मभिः बुद्धिदर्पणसङ्क्रान्तं जगदध्यक्षं वीक्षते आत्रेयं प्रथमं वन्दे आयुर्वेदजगद्गुरुम् आयुर्वेदामृतं सर्वं गृहीत्वा हि सुरेश्वरात् अग्निवेशादिकेभ्यो यत् प्रयच्छत् सप्तमः प्रथमं तन्त्रकर्तारम् अग्निवेशं नमाम्यहम्। So, Mausasurpi that we covered, Nunganadi Ghrita. Kalka Dravya Kottambali Dhanyaka Trifala Yavani Madhuka Sindhu Bhavasaindava Haridra Gogruta तृणविशेष नोंगण तृणविशेष इंद्रलता सुपारी कोमल मूल नारिकेल कोमल मूल सुपारी कोमल मूल एंड नारिकेल कोमल मूल भूम्यामलकी लक्ष्मण बलामूल उपोदिका सुरस गर्भपालक न्यूट्रिटिव टू द एम्ब्रियो सुख प्रसवकार seems to be very traditional. Is this Nonganadi Kurta available in the market? Does anybody know? Both it is Garbhapalaka and Sukhaprasavakaraka. So instead of Phalagrita, we may try to use this. And in congenital deformities, this might be used. Is this available? Does anybody know? Tengin Ukkaladi, Ukkiladi, Bruta, Gokshura Draksha Sahasra Vedi, Masha Chandana Ela Sitopala Shilagatu, Kannaram, Kathini, Yashtimatu Mudga, Gobruta, Tengin Pukkula, Narikela Komala Pushpa Samuha, Modak Modakattol, Modakatva, Vrishavasa Japamula, Attitul, Attitola, धूम्रत्व, गुळूची, शतावरी, मधुक, यष्टी मधु, जल, 1 part. गोक्षीर, रक्तस्राव, no sir. So we may try to see Punkin Toladigrita. जातिफल, जायपत्री, अतिविष, अजमोदा, अल्पेन, लवंग, इंद्रावण, इंद्रयव, शंभूक मांस, अरे बापरे प्रभृत, करंजत्व कषाय, चांगेरी रस, सर्वग्रहणी, अतिसारायण अर्शस, अग्निकंदादिघृत, अग्निकंद, यष्टेमधु, देवदारू, सर्जक्षार, इंद्रायवादी, शततंडुल, सर्जक, क्षार, तुत्थ, कालाजीरा, अजमोदा, पिप्पली, भारंगी, सूर्णकंद, चित्रक, मरचेंपू, अरवी, शंभूक मांस. Shambhuka mouse is again there. नारिकेल तैल, माहिषघृत, चित्रक, सारिवा, सूरणकंद, जल, गोक्षीर, तंडुलोदक. On Krishna Chaturdashi day. So this is again a specific day is required. Krishna Chaturdashi. Complete the process of preparation by the next day, that is Amavasya. Offer prayers to Lord Dhanvantari while preparing this formulation. Arshas, Shattandula, Indrayava, Malakangani, Dilanka, Bakuchi, Ela, and Dhanyaka. This is specifically only for Arshas. To be started on Krishna Chaturdashi and completed on Amavasya. Quite strange. चित्रकादिघृत, चित्रग्रंथिक, पूतिक, पुनर्नव महौषधा, तुलां पचेत् जलद्रवणे चतुर्भागावशेषिते, तत्कषाय घृतप्रस्थं षट्फलं विपचेत् पृथक् पृथक्, क्षीरद्विगुणितं सिद्धं ग्रहणीति अनन्तरम्. So षडूषण really speaking, त्याचा नागरही. अर्ष आणि अमावस्या काही संबंध आहे का? What I have observed, in those cases with some grahabadha or something, they aggravate on Amavasya and Purnima particularly. And in such cases, I use Yagavasma in my patients. But I haven't observed anything Arsha with Amavasya. There are two ways to deal with evil spirits. One is a God way, so to say. So praying the God and praying for good energy and then counteracting these evil spirits, that is one thing. And praying particularly Shiva or Kala Bhairava, who is a servant of Shiva, and he has to deal with all evils. So even he can control the evils, and this is something like Jaran, Maran, etc. to be performed by a mantrika. And I said the better way is go through gods. That's a better way to do. But in certain cases, this might also work. And surprisingly, it is Dhanvantari we prayed in during this shloka or this preparation of medicine. We do Dhanvantari Yag every year on Gudi Parva, which is the beginning of our clinic. This year we couldn't do due to this lockdown, but otherwise, from 1986, I have been doing Dhanvantari Yaga, and we preserve the Raksha, and then we give it internally in these particular patients. समुद्राला येणारी भरती ओहोटी तसे अमावस्या पौर्णिमा आणि सिम्पटम्सचा आहे का यामुळे लॉजिक कसे असेल दिस इज अ बिग क्वेश्चन and we have chandramas really speaking and the current system is based on the sun and in chandramasa there are shukla paksha krishna paksha and tithis associated with that the nakshatra at the time of sunrise is taken into account and the tithi at that time is taken into account but there can be tithi lopa there can be extension of a tithi nakshatra that is quite possible and I don't know what is the logic behind this why there are tithi lopa why there are extension of tithi etc etc and how it has been calculated. Now the high tide and low tide that is observed in the sea, which is a continuous process, is associated with the moving of Earth around the Sun and moving of Moon around Earth. And based on this tithi, so accordingly we can calculate when there is going to be high tide or low tide, etc. And this has something to do with the tithi, so this has something to do with Amavasya or Purnima, etc. Now, to understand fully what's happening, we may need to take help from astrology to understand the logic behind that. And what influence does it have with individuals? That is, असलेच कारण अमावस्या पौर्णिमा distance between Earth and Moon is least. असेलच कारण अमावस्या पौर्णिमेला डिस्टन्स बिटवीन अर्थ अँड मून इज लीस्ट आणि चंद्रमनाचा कारण त्यामुळे जास्त परिणाम जाणवत असेल. It is observed some people get hypertensive and angry on Amavasya and Purnima days. Rest of the days they are normal in behavior. What can be given to such people? This Chandra is the Karaka of mind. That is Chandrama Manaso Jataha. So this is the universal mind, and from which Chandrama got evolved, and that is why it is affecting our minds or something like that. So, I mean, either we have to do worships, that is one thing, and this Mauktik is good for Chandra. One may wear the ring of Mauktik, contain Mauktik, or Mauktik water, etc. can be given. But the evil spirits, they get aggravated during Amavasya and Purnima, and whatever rituals the particular black magic Jaduprana is to be done is particularly on Amavasya. So the relationship between all these has to be found, and the influence of that on humans, or for that matter any other living beings as such, has to be observed. So to counteract the evil spirit or to control the evil spirit, worshipping is one way. And the Kalabhairava is that another important aspect. I was not knowing the concept of Kalabhairava. But then somebody told that you should visit Kalabhairava temple first before entering the main temple. Because ultimately the Shankar works through Kalabhairava. So you should be pleasing Kalabhairava as such. And that is why then I changed my habit, and I visit Kalbhairav first go before and then enter the Shiva temple. So it just exposes our mind, nothing good and bad in Amavasya and Purnima. It is in our mind. That is why in South Amavasya is auspicious. There are two things. One thing is superstitions in mind, and if one knows that it is Amavasya today, it may affect the mind negatively. There is one stanza in Ashtanga Sagraha. If today is Amavasya, this should not be exposed to somebody else. There are two reasons. Perhaps the person might be thinking that this is very bad and something bad is going to happen or something like that. Or else, if he wants to do something bad, then that is a good time for him or something. So this may not be exposed to other people. That is one thing. Sardeshmukh sir categorically avoids journey on Amavasya. And he doesn't want to move out on that day. बाळंतपणात वाढ होते PPH वाढते. This is also very well seen, and there are more deliveries that are conducted on Amavasya and Purnima. So no doubt there is a definite relationship between all these, and there are people seen whose symptoms get aggravated, particularly on Amavasya and even on Purnima. So Chaturdashi and Panchadashi, whether Vaidya or Krishna, Shukla, is to be avoided for auspicious works. Now, still, if somebody is considering this, it as pavitra or some auspicious or something like that, Diwali is Amavasya and it is auspicious for Lakshmi Puja. Yeah, but this is an exception, so to say. Only this Diwali hours is said to be auspicious and it's good for Lakshmi Pujan, etc. But otherwise, all other Amavasyas are to be avoided. So that is why we are also keeping our Vachan closed on Amavasya because there is a mention in the text. Do not read these, etc. Or Adhyayana is not to be done. And this used to be these used to be the holidays, actually Ashtami, Chaturdashi and Panchadashi. So there are 6 holidays in each month. Now, when we make Sunday as holiday, then there are only 4 holidays. Otherwise, if we try to follow the tradition, then Ashtami, Chaturdashi and Panchadashi. So Ashtami is in the mid of the Paksha, either Shukla or Vaidya. And it is also to be avoided. And in Graha Rogadikar, there are so many grahas affecting particularly on a particular tithi. Treatment influence होते का आणि depending on अमावस्या and पौर्णिमा. It definitely gets influenced, and the symptoms, as I said, get aggravated, and we need to do something Adhidaivika, maybe Ram Raksha, etc. But if you do it every day, that's a better choice. So, anyway, this is a very big topic, and if we observe like this that the symptoms are getting aggravated on Amavasya and Purnima, then we may have to think about Adhidevic aspect and go for puja, path, archa, etc. and worshipping. That's a better thing to do. So coming back to Chitrakadi Grita, this is what you can say, Shadusha, and Shira Dvigunatam Siddham, Dviguna Kshira. This is Agni Deepaka. Actually, it is Grahani Deepaka. Original part is Shira Dvigunatam Siddham, Grahani Deepanam Param. So, it is known as Shatpala Gruta, and this is Kshira Shatpala. There is Mastu Shatpala as well. So instead of Kshira, we can add Mastu, and that is Sumo Shrota Shodhak Agni Deepak. According to this is कोणती आराधना करावी असा उल्लेख ज्वर विष्णू सहस्त्रनाम व्यतिरिक्त आला आहे का? In our texts, this is not the situation. But in the Nigantu Ratnakara, there are many things like this. And there are other texts, Brihad Jataka, etc., which may throw light on this aspect and particularly this Nadi Grantha, Nadipatti. They can tell you about the past deeds from past life and suggest upasana of a particular deity. So that is linked with the today's diseases, etc. And that helps. There is no doubt. So, like Vishnu Sahasranam in Unmada, there is a Shiva. So he is the controller of all Bhuta, Graha, etc. So Shiva Aradhana is there, mentioned there. But otherwise, one may see his own horoscope and then try to decide which is more beneficial for him. So take help from astrologer and Pratikula Graharchanam, this is one of the way. So there are controversies about this. In the text, it is Pratikula Graharchanam. But some people are of opinion that even if you try to please somebody who is not suitable to you or angry with you, it's not going to uh, have more positive change. On the contrary, if you worship the grahas which are anukul to you more, then they can overcome this problem. They can become more strong and reduce the effects of ill effects of other grahas. कुलदैवत आराधना सर्व सामान्यपणे सर्व दुःख निवृत्तीसाठी करता येईल. Yeah. Collectors are used to tell this to the patients and used to say that Kuladevata is more approachable for that family, which is particularly for that Kula, and so that is the more nearest deity. So without any intention as such, one should visit Kuladevata at least once a year. Now, most of the Kuladevatas are very far away, and to find time to go there and come back may require 2-3 days or something like that. But still, one should do it, keep on doing it. And that has good effect. There is no doubt about that. Many times it so happens that the person doesn't know the Kuladevata at all. Kuladevata should be established in your puja graha, and your daily puja of the Kuladevata is expected at home. At least some photo frame or in the form of some murti. You have to keep it in your puja graha and worship it daily. And once in a year, you go without intention to worship your Kuladevata. That's a better choice to do. There is another Aradhya Devata, Ishta Devata also. So Kuladevata and Ishta Devata. Somebody may have a liking for Ganpati or some other deity. And if that is Ishta Devata, then one may keep on doing that. That is also fine. एकच परमात्म स्वरूप सर्वव्यापी ईश्वराचा ध्यास धरावा हे दीर्घकालीन पूर्ण हिताचे दृष्टीने महत्वाचे आहे. Basic thing is, if we don't have some idol then we cannot concentrate. That is more important. What we have been studying in Patanjali Yoga Sutra, Sampradnyata Samadhi and then Asampradnyata Samadhi. In Sampradnyata Samadhi, Vitarka, Vichara, Ananda, and Asmita, Sasmita. These are four stages, so to say. And in Vitarka Samadhi, Sampradnyata Samadhi, we have some alambana in the form of some photo frame or like this idol, etc., etc. Try to concentrate on that, and there can be good atmosphere. So incense sticks are being done, burned, and there might be light, lamp, etc., etc. And maybe we are offering flowers to the deity. Mhm. From this, we have to reach the Savichara Sampradnyata Samadhi, in which this alambana is in our mind only. It's not present in front of us. And we should start concentrating on that through mind. And then is this Ananda Samadhi, Sampradnyata Samadhi, in which there is nothing in front of you, but you feel the Ananda or the happiness within yourself, within the soul. And in next phase, it is just Asmita. So feeling the soul presence, even we go beyond happiness and just feeling the presence of soul. And this is still sampradnyata. We are knowing something or something. And then is a sampradnyata samadhi. And then there can be a prakriti laya. And bhava pratyaya, again entering into the samsara or something like that. Bhava pratyaya vidaya prakriti layana. And we have to cross this and then reach the Tadadrashta Swarupe Avasthana. And there is a bypass, Ishvara Pranidhanatma. The Asampradnyata Samadhi can even be achieved by Ishvara Pranidhana. And there is a Dvaita Bhava initially, and then you become one with the Ishvara, Paramatma, something like that. So these, I feel, are varieties of stages. And one may decide with which way he is comfortable, he or she is comfortable, and may remain there. So Namasmarana is also one of the important aspects in this, and that is also sufficient for you to take to the salvation. So Jnana Marga, Bhakti Marga, Vairagya, there are so many ways. What one feels comfortable with may try to find that particular way, may try to follow that particular way, and would reach that condition. So anyway, while reading Patanjali Yoga Sutra, this is a Jnana Marga, and that's a difficult thing to follow. So with continuous effort and Vairagya, Abhyasa Vairagya Abhyantan Nirodha, that is what this is. So practicing it regularly makes a difference. And Satkara Sevita Drudabhumi, etc. That is what happens. And then Vashikara Saudnyaka Vairagya and Para Vairagya, even beyond that. If you Keep on doing this, then you reach your goals. So anyway, once you become Paramatma Swarupa or something like that, you don't have to bother about anything else. There are Mukta yogis and who are just alive because the lifespan has not completed. But for them, nothing is there. So what Dhaneshwar says, Agadi झालीच नाही. The universe has not evolved at all, or something like that. So these all things are very difficult to understand, and maybe with continuous practice, one may achieve this. But till then, there are various obstacles, there are various, can say, sankata or sufferings at different levels, and there are ways to tackle them at those levels. So worshipping is one of the way to handle these situations and get relieved. Anyway, so what I feel right now is we should try to understand auspicious and inauspicious and try to follow them right now. Later on, you may not feel it necessary or something. अश्वगंधा फलशतं बलागोक्षुरयोस्तथा पुनरस्य च फलानि दशकल्पये. शतावरी नागवला गुरुची यवमाशकौ यष्टि पंचफलान्येव पृथगेषां समाहर षट्त्रिंशन्मानिते तोये षडङ्ग परिशेषिते. षडङ्ग त्वच्चेद्विमानिकं सर्पे पयसाद्विगुणेन च पिष्टानि कार्षकाण्येव दद्यात् सङ्घट्टयेत् पुनः त्रिजातकं त्रिकटिकम् रास्नाञ्च मधुकं तथा समङ्गो क्षीर शुक्लावम् अजमोजकम् जेरकञ्च तथान्तराक्षां मञ्जिष्ठो क्षीरसैन्धवाम् सर्वं चैव समावाप्य शनैर्मुद्वग्निना क्वचित् सम्यक् परिसितं तत्तु घृतं धान्ये निधापयति. एतद् घृतं महावीर्यं नृणाम् अमृतोपमम्. एकादशानि रूपाणि क्षयस्य च गपोहति. वातशोणितमानाहं सुप्तवातं च श्लीपदम्. शिरोहर्षं वातशूलं दुर्नानां च नाशनम्. नाशकम्. ऊरुस्तम्भं शिरोरोगे रक्तपित्ते हलीमति पुराणज्वरे दाहे च सर्पिरेतदनुत्तमम्. फलितं फलितं चैव वन्द्यत्वार्धावभेदकौ अश्वगन्धादिकं सर्पिकृशबृंहणमुत्तमम्. Is this Ashwagandha Digrita available with this part here? So, Amrutopamam like Amruta. Ekadashani Rupani Kshayasya च गपो. So in Ekadasha Raja Yakshma also this is very beneficial. Vatashonitam Anaham Suttavatam च Shlipadam. Now for the first time I have seen this Suttavata Shabda. And now I have come across metastasis in skeleton. And there are symptoms like this Suttavata, no sensation, karmahani, etc. And how to deal with that is a big question. So, this Ashwagandhadi Gruta might be of help. Klipadam, Shiroharsham, Vatashulam, Durnamanam cha Nashanam. Shiroharsha, Vatashula, and Harsha. Urustambam, Shiroroge, Raktapitte, Halimate. Puranajware, Dahecha, Sarpiretadamuttam. Khalitam, Palitan, Cheva, Vandat, Varbhava, Vedakau. Ashwagandha, Sarpi, Kusha, Bruhana, Muttam. Mayuri, are you present? This would be good for that patient. And whether this is available. Okay. Does anybody know that this is available or not? Kangani, this should be fine. Otherwise, we try to prepare this. Not very difficult. The part is very big, but not very difficult. I think this is not available. Nobody is replying. सर संग्रह रेफरन्स से मिळते पाठ is the same पाठ बघावा लागेल. Okay. I have a strange idea. This might reduce the bad effects of this KFC cow gurta. That we buy this whatever are available today and add equal quantity of desi cow ghee and desi cow milk and again prepare gurta from that. So at least 50% qualities will change. If we do it repeatedly, that might work. Or it will be better if we go for desi cow gurta itself. Okay. But this seems to be good. And the Falashruti is quite wide. Tujakataka, Trikatuka, Rasna, Madhuka, Samanga, Najal, Nirjalu, Ushira, Shira Shukla, Shirakakole, Ajamoda, Jiraka, Draksha, Manjishta, Ushira, Sendava, 1 each. Gogruta, Ashwagandha, 1 tula. Balagokshur, Pudarna, 10 pala each. Shatavari, Nagbala, Guduchi, Yava, Masha. Yava and Masha, this is something very strange in this. Yashti, Jala. Shashtamansha Kashaya. So this is also different, not Ashtamansha, but Shashtamsha. Sleep of grains for 15 days. It is equivalent to ambrosia. What is ambrosia? Amruta, Amrutopamam. I didn't know that the word for Amruta is ambrosia in English. There is one ambrosia resort on Powder Road. क्षय वातरक्त आनाह सुप्तत्व क्लीपद शिरोग्र शिर हर्ष वातशूल अर्शस उरुस्तंभ शिरोरोग शिरोहर्ष शिरोहर्ष रक्तपित्त हलिमख पुराण ज्वर दाह आदित्य पादित्य वंध्यत्व एक्चुअली अर्धावेदक ब्रूहण. ओके वी मे ट्राय टू शिरोहर्ष म्हणजे काय असं रोमांच उभे राहणे. So it might be Siraharsh, not Shiro. This might just not be associated with Mastaka. I have to see. Siraharsha is also not there. Lomaharsha, Romaharsha, Shiroharsha. Shiroharsham Vatashula. Namananjanasham. So here it is Shiroharsha only. Anyway, कंपवात में पेशेंट सर फिरते हैं वो might be possible. हर्ष का मतलब ज्यादा सड़सड़ने इस प्रकार का है, कंप से नहीं होगा. कारस्कर घृत द्राक्षा यष्टी कदली फल कुचला शुद्ध कुठला जो घृत काला इक्षु बलामूल चतुर्थावशिष्ट कषाय क्षीर घृत श्रोथ दाह संधि पीड़ा वातरक्त. शुद्ध कारस्कर शुद्ध कुचला has to be used. This might be. I don't think this is available. आम्रगंधाद्रकरसे दध्ना सिद्धं घृतं हितं अरुचौ अतिसारे च जीरकाद्रककल्पिता. आम्रगंधी हरिद्रा is आंबे हळद and दही जीरक आर्द्रक कल्पित सिद्ध घृत. This is easy to prepare. Available by Malbar Ayurveda. Which one, Amargandhadi or this previous one, Karaskara Gurta? Karaskara. Arucho Atisareksha. Arucho and Atisara, this is beneficial. So this is also simple. Ardraka Jiraka, Amaragandhi Haridra and Dahi. So कट्टुचेन घृत वनसुवर्ण घृत पंचकोल गौघृत वनसुवर्ण कंद कषाय प्लस तक्र arshas. So there should be availability of manasura naturally grown in forest. Anyway, I'm going to plant surana in our open farm, and there is a good variety grown by a person called as Vichare in Kokon itself. So we may go for that, or we may go for regular suran that is available in the market. And he has an export to UAE of this suran, his suran. But it can be easily grown in Konkan area, and as such, we may think of preparing some medicines from that. There are varieties of medicine. This also seems to be a simple medicine rather. If we have this Vanasurana, Panchakola Suran, and Takra, Gogruta. Really simple. Then we can try regular Suran with this method. Nerinyal Uvaladi Grita. Pippali. Gruta, Bilvamula Laja Jiraka Kashai, Vata Shamaka. Ashtamangala Gruta. Karaskara Gruta, we may try to use in Vata Vyadi. Shrotha Daha Kundi Pida Vatarakta. Ashtamangala Grita. Now this is available from Gavyamrita. Patolam Sariva Musta Madukam Katurohini. Shiran Chandanam Chaiva Pikalita Shritangitam. Ashtamangalakam Nama Kritam Atreya Pujitam. Sarvajvara Haram Chaiva Rakshodham Pushti Vardhana. I think we have ordered this. I don't remember whether we have ordered this, but this is available for Gavya Siddha. This also might be good for this girl, Mayuri. So Patolam Sariva Musta Madhukam Katurohini Ushiram Chandaran Chaiva Pippali Teshitangritam Ashtamangalakam Nama. Sarvajvara Haram Chaiva Rakshobnam Pushti Vardhana. So the Falashruti is good. I think we ordered. So I think I have this. So this can be given. I think she has an appointment. Patola Sariva Musta Madhukha Katurohini. Patolam सारिवामस्ता पाठाकटुकरोहिणी पटोलम सारिवामस्ता पाठाकटुकरोहिणी पुढचा काय आहे? पटोलम सारिवामस्ता पाठाकटुकरोहिणी हा रक्तपाचक आहे ना. शीर, चंदन, पिप्पली and मधुका. निंबकपटोल, त्रिफला, मृद्विका, मुस्तवत्सक. The next one. रसपाचकाचा काय आहे? कलिंगका पटोलस्य पत्रं कटुकरोहिणी पटोलम सारिवामस्ता पाठाकटुकरोहिणी. Raktapachak Dravya, yes, that is what I failed. Yes, sir, it can be given to Ritika. So I think this is available with me. I just have to check. And when she arrives, I shall give it. And in addition to that is Chandana, Ushira, Pippali, and Madhuka. Only Patha is missing. Yeah. We have to think of this combination. Rakshogna and Pushtikaraka. So anyway, I think this is a better choice. Mayura Grutam. So Mahamayura Gruta. Mayuram Pikshapitantra Pada Tunda Varjitam Dashamula Valarasa Madhukai Stripale Gitam Jale Pakta Gruta Prastan Tasmin Shira Samam Pachat Kalkita Madhura Dravya Sarva Jatru Rogaji Tadabhyasi Kurtam Pana Pastab Benjan Navanai. So this is Mayura Grutam, there might be Mahamayura later on. And the Kukkuta is also having the same properties. This Mahamayura is again a head. So without Paksha, Pitta, Antrapada, Vishtha and Tunda, Dashamula, Bala, Rasna, Balamula, Rasna, Yashtimulu, Trikala, Kashaya, Kshira, Pana, Basti, Nasya, and Abhyanga, Urda Jagaturgata Roga. This we may try to use Mahakukkuta Gruta from this instead of this Mayura. Okay, let us conclude over here and continue on Monday. Ayurveda prakando nigadita ihahi शल्यतंत्र प्रधानः शिष्येभ्यः शाश्वतोऽयं निखिलजनकृपा व्याप्तचित्तेन येन आयुर्वेदस्य वाञ्छन् पुनरपि भुवने काञ्च सुष्ठुप्रतिष्ठां श्रेष्ठं धन्वन्तरिं तं प्रणमति च सदा वैद्यवर्गो हि नूनं वैद्यवर्गो हि नूनम्. हो चालेल, कर कॉल. विरम्यते व्याख्यान व्यापारात सोमवासरे पुनर्मिलिष्यामः. महाकुक्कुट मांस तेल अवेलेबल. ओके, पाठ बघतो एकदम. ओके, फाईन. तैल